Upal, I think you're on mute.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So let us get started. So hi everyone. I'm Upal Mahabub. I serve as the chair of IEEE Computer Society San Diego chapter, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the 13th and the last talk of our 2024 invited seminar series. Today's virtual event is co-hosted by the Santa Clara Valley, San Antonio, Pikes Peak, Oregon, Foothill, Boise, Dallas, and Hawaii Computer Society chapters, as well as IEEE Consumer Technology Society chapter of San Diego and IEEE EPS chapter of San Diego. We also have Open Research Institute Incorporation as our media partner for the entire series. We are delighted to host Aisha Tabassum as our invited speaker today. Thanks to Sanjay, the newly appointed IEEE CS Portfolio Officer for Speaker Event Coordination. He helped us out to connect with Aisha. Sanjay, I'll be glad if you kindly introduce our speaker to the audience.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Upal. Aisha is a distinguished technologist and a senior IEEE member with over 10 years of experience in AI, cloud computing, and enterprise architect. She is the founder and CEO of One Stop for Cloud, a leading ed tech platform offering free webinars and hands-on training for students, professionals, and corporate worldwide. Aisha has designed cutting-edge multi-cloud architecture solutions for renowned clients, including Intel, NetApp, Macy's, Otis, and Fiserv. An accomplished keynote speaker, patent holder, and authored over 40 research publications, Aisha continues to shape the future of technology and education. We are honored to have her with us today. The floor is yours, Aisha.
Yeah, thank you so much for the intro, Sanjay, and thank you for the opportunity, Upal, and um, and welcome to the audience here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining this session. So I will try my level best to deliver value in terms of providing information that would help each one of us scale in our career and transition to the role of a multi-cloud architect, right, which is a blooming industry across the globe. The demand is just increasing because every sector, whether federal sector or private sector, public sector or hybrid sector, is transitioning to cloud. All right, with cloud becoming more secure and reliable and efficient, with reduced latency and offering its own, federal landing zones with the advanced security, the acceptance is worldwide, even across the federal sectors. So that being said, today I'll mostly talk about navigating the professional advancement in cloud architecture. What are the desired skills? What should be a strategy? And what are the opportunities? So first, let me, give a brief intro about the existing cloud market. Where is the potential? What is the market cap? So as you can see, the cloud market is projected to grow from 545.8 billion in 2022 to almost double of its size in 2027, right? And with the every year transition of being 20% and more, you know, and it slightly fluctuates, but still with advanced offerings from AWS, Azure, and GCP, including IBM and OCI, each one having their own trade-offs in terms of service, feature, capabilities, AI embeddings, integrations, and the cost being the primary deciding factor. The cloud market is just going to bloom for the next couple of decades, right? And, we are well aware, being in the industry for 5 years, sometimes 10 years or 20 years, 20 plus years, and so on and so forth, that our organizations, whether it is product-based company or a service-based company, is migrating to cloud. We have huge cloud migration projects going on from on-prem data centers to the cloud because of its flexibility, scalability, and cost optimizing capabilities, right? And there is this traditional shift from traditional IT, wherein the enterprises used to host their own data centers, manage them, maintain them, hire resources at all levels, to ensure its upkeep. And there was this mindset amongst the enterprises, especially the federal sector and fintech sector, that having our own data center makes our product more secure. But the cloud providers have been transitioning wherein they're providing additional security capabilities, wherein the data of the client is encrypted with confidential computing node offerings such as SGX and TDX from Intel. So, what are the global opportunities that we have in this space? So, USA is a go-to market for every individual who wants to, scale their career. So, that being said, at this point, this year alone, we had 15,000 plus open cloud architect roles across the enterprises and across the industries. And the average salary of a cloud architect ranges between 150K to up to 300K, depending on the specializations. And if the cloud architect is specialized in multiple clouds, holding the architect certifications from AWS, Azure, and GCP, then there is every potential for that individual to get a salary of even 350K. And the next go-to market is India, wherein we have about 7,000 open positions for cloud architect roles, and the salary ranges between 12 to 25 lakhs per annum. And the next destination is UK, wherein we had about 4,000 plus positions, and the average salary ranged from around 75,000 euros to 100K euros. And the next being the Canada, where we had about 2,500 plus roles with an average salary of about 120K uh, Canadian dollars. And the final being Australia, which had about 1,800 plus positions open, and the salary ranged anywhere between 130K to 150K Australian dollars per year. So that being said, having explored the markets and the open positions and the salary ranges, what is that will qualify an individual to be a exceptional cloud architect? It is this technology stack that's going to help us reach that level of success, wherein we have to master AWS, Azure, GCP cloud services, the product offerings in terms of data pipelines, in terms of CI/CD pipelines, the containerization platforms, the compute, storage, databases, FinOps, observability. All of these are evolving, and the usage is across the industries. It's widely accepted. And the next thing being, given the scale of the infrastructure that would be needed for a billion-dollar industry, there is a need for automation. And in today's times, the go-to platform for infrastructure as code is Terraform, wherein they have this concept of modularity. All of the services that we want to provision on a large scale or update from a centralized place is handled using Terraform modules. It has its own templates wherein we can provide the variables for different environments, like the development environment, the pre-prod environment, the production environment, the testing environment, and so on and so forth. So given its extensive offering and the sync features and the centralized management capabilities, the ease of production and maintenance, Terraform has become widely popular. So having a HashiCorp Terraform certification also boosts the credibility of a cloud architect who would be seen as someone with expertise in automation for provisioning, bootstrapping, deprovisioning, auditing, and maintaining the large-scale cloud platforms. And Ansible is another tool for the maintenance of servers and nodes across multiple cloud platforms, wherein any kind of OS level updates or the security updates or execution of scripts for log archivals, for cleanup, so on and so forth, can be achieved by Ansible. So these tools are a must if we want to qualify ourselves as exceptional cloud architects. And the next widely used tech stack is containerization, wherein across the globe, the clients are going for containerized platforms such as Azure Kubernetes Service, Elastic Kubernetes Service, Google Kubernetes Engine, Red Hat OpenShift platforms, because it helps in optimized resource allocation, optimized resource utilization, and thereby leading to optimized cost um, you know, cost optimization, thereby leading to savings as well, and ensuring whatever investment a client is making, they're reaping maximum benefits out of it. And then with the AI-based capabilities and having platforms such as PyTorch, TensorFlow, TensorBoard, Kubeflow, so on and so forth, Python, Go, Java, with the API calls that can be made um, to the multiple cloud platforms and the services within them. These languages are a must-have because in a wide-scale, infrastructure, hosting large enterprise applications, which are microservice based with increased complexity because of having multiple clouds and also hybrid cloud setup, there is a need to streamline the bootstrapping of the services, whether it is at an infrastructure level and also the deployment of applications in multiple languages such as Java, Node.js, C, and C++. And the next important feature being security, wherein every cloud platform have their security services, such as AWS has identity and access management, Azure has Entra ID, Google has its own identity and access management solution, and sometimes clients also go with a third-party service like LDAP, so on and so forth. And the biggest benefit this gives is user management, right? Enforcing the access policies, ensuring that the respective team would only have the access for the resources they need, and there'll be hundreds and thousands of projects that will be hosted in a particular cloud, ensuring a particular project team's access is restricted to their resources only, right? And so on and so forth. And then, especially in the architecture, the main the main skill set is designing the architecture solution, because one is having the knowledge, but how do we put forth the concepts and the implementation strategy along with the design in front of the stakeholders and in front of the technical teams, right? So that is something a cloud architect should be well equipped with. He should know how to design and how to get the design implemented through technical expertise, right? And how to drive the cross-functional teams. And scalability is another important aspect, wherein most of the cloud platforms, they offer auto scaling features such as scaling out and scaling in features, which is part of capacity planning. Before, in the absence of cloud, we had tools such as big IPFI LTMs, which was used to distribute traffic across data centers and across different nodes, across different pools. But these days, with the managed container platforms and also the managed nodes and managed Elastic Container Service and such services, the need to, the need to implement the scalability is high, and it is catering to that need. So the next aspect is, what should be the strategy for our career growth? So we might be in different stages of our career, wherein we would be between 1 to 5 years of experience, and again 5 to 10, 10 to 20, and again 20 plus, right? So if we want to scale a career to be at the architect level, right? So the very first aspect is earning the certification definitely helps, but I have also seen many positions being closed by exhibiting the knowledge that is acquired through implementation of the cloud architecture designs that has proven to be efficient with high throughput, right? And especially when it comes to certifications, we have to go with the industry recognized certifications such as AWS Solutions Architect, Azure Architect Expert, and GCP Professional Architect. So these are the primary certifications that an individual with even 5 years of experience or between 5 to 10 years of experience, if he has the certifications, then he'll be seen as a top contender for a role, for which the number of applications received could be in hundreds, right? And also, the second aspect is gaining multi-cloud experience, right? So many a times I have seen that some of the medium skill industries go with a single cloud just to reduce the complexity. But the challenge that is introduced is the vendor lock-in, wherein sometimes the cost of the services just scales high, right? And that is where the need for having multi-cloud architecture design has just gone high over the years, right? And there are a lot of ways to actually achieve multi-cloud experience by contributing to the open source projects, by coming up with our own GitHub repos, for a specific use case. For example, for a retail sector or for healthcare sector, right? For the federal sector, for education sector, for defense sector, so on and so forth. And we can also publish our architecture designs on the Medium channels, right? There are a lot of blogging websites that are available wherein the architects, engineers, industry experts kind of, share their knowledge. So contributing to such platforms also gives a lot of visibility, and that in turn increases the chances of getting hired as a cloud architect. And networking at conferences, industry events, forums such as IEEE helps to a great extent as well, wherein we meet a lot of intellectual minds who have experience building the complex multi-cloud architecture designs. So having that conversation, having those discussions about what is the best possible solution, what approach would give us the best ROI, right? In terms of observability, how to have the centralized monitoring capabilities using cloud native monitoring solutions, so on and so forth. They're very interesting discussions, and also the yield and the result of such discussion is always very enriching in terms of increasing our knowledge level, and also building that strong relationship with the industry experts whom we can reach out to in times of need. And there's also a need for upskilling, in emerging technologies like AI ops, and ML ops. So starting the mid of last year with the introduction of ChatGPT, Gemini, and with the cloud services integrating these AI capabilities within their offerings, the need to upskill ourselves has gone really high. And there are institutes like Applied AI, Responsible AI, conducting webinars and workshops from time to time. So just participating in them gives that knowledge base to scale, right? It's like setting the foundation based on which we are building the strong structures. Through exploration, research, implementation, coming up with our own projects, talking about it, helps to a great extent. So, what are the innovative products, that has come out using cloud architecture solutions? So, across the industry, we have seen the AI-powered analytics platform, especially the Power BI-based Splunk dashboard, And for data analytics, we had tools like Tableau. Before we had to, feed the data set, whether in terms of megabytes or gigabytes, large data sets, and we had to, kind of select the metrics that we want to gauge using that particular data set. But now with AI integrated in the cloud native services, that is automatically taken care, wherein it is analyzing the metrics by collecting the trace logs from different applications, by collecting the container logs, by collecting the resource usage on cloud platforms for multiple projects across accounts and also across different clouds, right? So this is deeply embedded. Of course, they're offering them at a cost, but still the benefits are really high. So this is one of the use case we are seeing in 2024 very predominantly. Then we have this cloud-based solutions, and especially when we talk about cloud, clients always have this perception of it being scalable, flexible, less expensive compared to setting up and managing our own data centers, and the flexibility it offers in terms of spinning up the services, exploring if it works, then scale. If it doesn't work, just deprovision, and we save a lot of money, right? So that's how it is. And there's also a product suite wherein there are extensive uh, services that are coming up for um, for the complicated architecture designs. Like we have this IoT based design wherein we are collecting the data from different sensors across the globe, that is on a wide scale, and kind of doing the analytics and coming up with the product recommendations in order to drive business sales. So this is just one of the use case. Likewise, we have many use cases in retail sector, in healthcare, defense, federal, banking, education, so on and so forth. So how is the job market, right? So as we discussed, there are a lot of open cloud architect positions worldwide, and currently the statistics is 50,000 plus, right? And yes, a lot of people are aiming to become a cloud architect, but whatever strategy they have to follow in order to grab that much sought after role is something that requires effort, right? That's one aspect. And the second aspect being, what are the top hiring industries for cloud architects? First is the technology sector, which constitutes about 40%. Then we have retail, which constitutes about 10%. We have fintech or finance sector or banking sector, which is hiring almost 20% of the cloud architect roles. Then we have healthcare sector, which needs about 15%, and the other sectors counts for like 15%. So analyzing the 5 years trajectory, we see that there is 25% increase in demand because of global cloud adoption, right? So when it comes to the country-wise upskilling needs, so every country, in every country, the upskilling needs are there by default, but there is a niche, right? Suppose in USA, of course, we have a lot of cloud architects, we have expertise, but when it comes to cloud security, we need more experts, and also DevOps, right? We do have a lot of DevOps experts, but with the introduction and integration of AI based services, the field of DevOps is transitioning to AI ops, right? And the field of IT ops is also transitioning to AI ops. So that is where there is a need for the folks across the industries to upskill themselves with this newer tech stack. Then in India, we have the upskilling needs for multi-cloud resources and also the automation experts. In UK, it is for AI integration in cloud. In Canada, it is for cloud native development. And in Australia, it is for FinOps experts. So, as discussed, of course, there are industry recognized certifications in the field of architecture, which is offered by AWS, Microsoft, Google, HashiCorp, right? And many, architecture bodies like ISA Global, right? They have the STOGAF, so on and so forth. So getting those certifications is just like a key that is used to unlock the door of that opportunity, right? And where is the scope of cloud architects? What is their primary contribution that is sought by each of the different sectors that I mentioned here? So in the financial sector, it is enhancing transparency and increasing security using blockchain, right? And in healthcare, it is revolutionizing patient care with AI by coming up with solutions such as clinical support system, DNA sequencing, coming up with effective vaccines through analyzing the data set of the geographies, um, having treated certain set of patients in country A with a particular vaccine, what has been the result? Likewise, in geography, in a different geography with different set of people and with different set of vaccine, what has been the outcome? So these kind of analysis before took months and years, but these days with AI, the speed of processing has increased so high that whatever was taking months can now be done within days. And then in the manufacturing sector, it is about optimizing the production with IoT and ensuring the supply chain optimization, optimization of infrastructure, right, for timely deliverables of the products from the manufacturer to the seller is a key contribution of a cloud architect. And then in the retail sector, it is about driving personalized customer experiences with data analytics, wherein we provide recommendations by analyzing their choices in terms of color, product, cost, um, you know, the purchase range, time of the year, so on and so forth. So all of this is helping us with the best marketing strategies, right? Wherein the recommendation is based on the taste of the customer, and that is where they feel like buying more. That adds to the business and revenue. And the next field is the logistics, which is about streamlining operations with cloud-based solutions. Right. And then in the education sector, it is about transforming learning with digital platforms. So what does a day in the life of cloud architect looks like, right? So cloud architect is actually a connect between an executive who's designing a particular business outcome with and the technical teams that are driving the changes, updates to the code, to the application architecture, to the technology architecture, right? So this is a very key role wherein we have a need for clear communication about the requirements and needs and the clear technical specifications and strategies to come up with the solutions to meet those business goals, right? Um, so generally, the mornings there'll be the review of architectural designs for the projects, and they meet with stakeholders, they meet with external clients, right? And then to understand their needs and requirements, they meet with technical teams to understand the flow of the actual need with the implementation for the desired outcome. Then the midday goes with hands-on configuration, debugging issues, code reviews, right? Coming up with updates, upgrades, coming up with the plans, the change management plans, so on and so forth. And the afternoon is more about collaborative planning with DevOps team, who are responsible for the release pipelines, starting from the time the code is committed to the time it is built, after which it goes through multiple scans. And then eventually it's deployed to pre-prod, tested, and again deployed to prod, monitored, and maintained, right? And the evening is all about researching the emerging technologies, coming up with the documentation, um, right? That is kind of referred by different cross-functional teams and from different project teams across, right? So this is how the day in the life of a cloud architect looks like. And generally in the field of architecture, the growth looks something like this, wherein, of course, there are companies that offer performance-based, salary increase and even the stock increase, um, so on and so forth. But generally, the average salary growth is 10% annually for certified professionals, and upskilling ROI, wherein certification holders earn 20% more, right? And multi-cloud expertise increases job opportunities by 30% and job retention by 40%. And automation tools expertise reduces operational costs by 40%. So what are the emerging technologies in cloud architecture? One is serverless computing, wherein it is more of it is more of a platform wherein the services are managed by the cloud providers themselves, and we mostly make use of deploying our apps on those managed services. So on AWS we have AWS Lambda functions, in Azure we have Azure functions, likewise in Google we have Google Cloud Functions. And then it is about AI and machine learning integration. So each of the cloud platform is offering their own set of AI services, wherein AWS, as part of their reinvent, they launched a lot of AI-based chips and also AI-based services on AWS cloud platform, such as AWS Q, which is just like Google Vertex AI Studio, to actually build the models to come up with our own virtual assistants, chatbots, personas, agentic AIs, so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting field, and also there are a lot of exciting opportunities. And machine learning integration is another aspect wherein the PhDs and the machine learning experts uh, are given higher preference with higher wages, right? And with increased prominence in today's AI era. And the concept of ML ops is being introduced across the industries. And then we have this edge computing, wherein we have this caching servers across the globe to improve the response times by reducing the latency for the IoT devices. Then we have zero trust architecture for security, wherein every vulnerability is seen as a security threat, whether it is a critical vulnerability, whether it is ranked high, medium, or low. So each one is considered as an important, um, you know, important threat that needs to be threat modeled so that the vulnerabilities are closed and our product and offerings are more secure. Right? Then we have quantum cloud services. At this point, it is in the early stage, but gradually, the adoption is increasing. So there are certain set of challenges that are faced by cloud architects, right? Because of the increase in the service offerings and updates for the existing features, um, and the emerging technologies. So all of these adds a lot of challenges, right? Such as balancing cost efficiency and
Aisha, sorry, can you kindly unmute? Yeah, yeah, you got muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Yeah, please continue.
Sure. Okay, yeah, thank you. So there are certain set of challenges that are faced by cloud architects because of the complexity in design and also because of a lot of additional features and emerging technologies, right? So it becomes highly crucial to actually balance the cost efficiency with the performance. So there is this fine line of having the resources provisioned at an optimum level, wherein they're performing at its best, right? And this can be achieved by monitoring the workloads over a certain duration, like probably last 3 months, last 6 months, and predicting the future workloads depending on the marketing strategies, depending on the product offerings, um, right? Increase in SKUs, and so on and so forth. And managing multi cloud complexity is highly crucial because there are a lot of elements such as networking architecture, right? And firewalls and compatibilities between two cloud platforms, compatibilities between the microservices hosted on different cloud platforms on different instance types, and ensuring the seamless, um, connection establishment and also the packet transfer um, between the source and destination. Sometimes it's bi-directional, sometimes it's one way, but still networking adds a lot of complexity for multi-cloud architecture designs as I have seen it. And then ensuring security and compliance is also very challenging because every cloud platform have their own security offerings. For example, if I take the case of Microsoft Azure, they have Azure Security Center, which kind of scans for the resources that are provisioned within Azure across accounts or within the same account, depending on the configuration settings that comes under diagnostic settings of each of the service, right? But collecting that data from different cloud platforms and analyzing it, keeping in mind the lag or lead, is highly crucial, right? So that is another aspect of it. And then we have a lot of evolving tools and platforms that are coming up. So it is highly critical for cloud architects to equip themselves with the knowledge base and make the best decisions, right? And addressing talent shortages, knowledge gaps, and skill gaps of the cross-functional teams is also challenging because everybody comes with different set of experiences, and getting the teams together to function in coordination to drive the desired result is challenging, but at the same time very exciting. And thank you so much for the audience and also to the IEEE committee and my dear friend Sanjay for this opportunity. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Um, you can either send me an email. I'm also on LinkedIn. Um, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Aisha. Thanks for the nice and interesting talk. So the floor is open for question answers. Anyone on the bridge want to have any question for Aisha? I have one question. So, how do you see the demand of cloud architects in like maybe 20 years? And you also mentioned like quantum cloud services are emerging. Like, do you see those being like a mainstream thing soon?
Yes, Because recently as well, there is a lot of research and exploration happening in quantum computing. There is a lot of investment being made by these cloud platforms um, in collaboration with the universities such as Stanford, Harvard, IUB, and some top tier universities across the globe. So that being said, in the next 20 years, at this point, I see that we have this agentic AI coming up, uh, right, wherein um, it is able to control the devices similar to the way we do, right? And that being said, having trained that agentic AI with the models, uh, you know, and with the knowledge base, it would definitely, come up with a solution similar to the cloud architects. Of course, in certain decision making stages, definitely the human intervention is needed. But yes, I mean, the field of cloud architecture is slowly evolving. With AI at this point, in the next 5 years, I see agentic AIs, right, coming up to help the cloud architects with better decision making um, knowledge and tools. And in the next 20 years, um, I think everywhere it's going to be cloud. There will be no concept of on-prem data center. And there is billions of dollars of investment being made across the countries, whether it is in Middle East, whether it is in Asia or Australia. US, of course, is one among the top.
I see. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, actually, that was my question. Like, these AI agents, are they going to replace most of the cloud architects, and we'll need only a few to
Um,
just make a decision for the AI?
yeah. So this question is being asked by industry leaders, experts across all the boards, right, related to AI. But everywhere the answer is um, it's going to act more like a personal assistant, is what they say, right? But in terms of critical decision making, definitely a human cloud architect is needed.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Any other question? Sean, please go ahead.
Yes. Right. I'm curious, where does the role of cloud architect and the role of a specialist begins? I see specialization certifications in like data engineering, data science, application development. So are these specializations in addition to being a cloud architect, or is there a certain cutoff point where the role goes to two different people?
So that's definitely a great question. So in the field of architecture, we have enterprise architecture, which includes both, infrastructure, cloud, and application architecture. But there are like subfields under enterprise architecture, wherein we have data architecture, we have technology architecture, we have business architecture, and we have cloud architecture and application architecture. So cloud architecture works in collaboration with the application architect or the enterprise architect, because whatever cloud services we are provisioning, bootstrapping, deprovisioning, is all to have our applications running so that our customers across the globe can access those features and products on the website, right, on our platform. So cloud architects' primary focus is on the cloud platforms, and they work in coordination and in collaboration with data architects and application architects.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Any
I've got a
other
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead, Sanjay.
Yeah. So how well, or how is the industry, like building up itself around zero trust architecture? Like, is it going like really well? The is the adoption really fast, or is it still like a bit of a difficult journey?
As I have seen it with the fintechs and retail, um, it is definitely a challenging journey because it's a trade-off between the security and also the application performance. So, right, and that's one thing. And secondly, the zero trust architecture is gaining popularity, but in terms of adoption, it's very complex because certain times, we are making use of these tools called Wiz, right? Wiz has gained a lot of popularity. It does the vulnerability assessment and provides remediation. Um, and we can also implement a lot of policies and come up with the custom policies to do the vulnerability assessments for different services across multiple clouds. So with these tools, right, and there is also a tool called Accunox, which is kind of throwing up high critical, medium, and low vulnerabilities, but they're in terms of hundreds or 50 plus or 40 plus or 30 plus. So when we go on evaluating these vulnerabilities that are reported, according to zero trust, we have to close all of them. But certain times I've seen that when we try to close certain set of vulnerabilities, it results in a lot of latency, right? Because it is blocking certain amount of traffic, and it is also what do you call? We call it as false positives. It is raising a lot of false positives, um, wherein it is tagging a legitimate traffic as a security threat because it has a certain pattern that is defined, right?
Okay.
So zero trust architecture is gaining popularity, but implementation is complicated. And
Okay.
like I said, we have to do the trade-off between performance and security at its best.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was interesting. Any other question? If not, yeah, I think we can end the meeting here. Thank you so much, Aisha, once again for the very interesting talk. And if anyone has any question for Aisha, feel free to reach out.
Can we will
Yeah.
we get the recording and slides?
So as for the recording, it eventually gets uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can.
What is your YouTube channel?
Yeah, if you go to the event page, we have